This story is not a fictional drama. It is a raw, painful confession sent to us by a mother who feels like she is drowning in her own home. For her privacy, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah is 68 years old. A retired nurse who spent 3 decades caring for others. She should be enjoying the quiet peace of her golden years. But instead, her house has become a silent battlefield. She wakes up every morning with a heavy heart, listening for the sound of her 34-year-old son's video games through the walls. This is a story about the failure to launch syndrome that is tearing families apart across the country. Sarah asks a question that keeps her up at night. At what point does my love for my son become the very thing that destroys him? Chapter 1: The Trap of Just a Little Longer. Sarah remembers clearly when her son, Mark, moved back home 5 years ago. He had lost his job in the tech industry, and like any mother, she opened her doors wide. "It's just for a few months, Mom," he had promised. But months turned into seasons, and seasons turned into years. This is the most dangerous trap for senior parents. The illusion of temporary help. It starts small, cooking him a meal because he's stressed, or paying his phone bill so he doesn't miss an interview. But slowly, these acts of kindness become expectations. In Sarah's house, the roles have shifted in a distorted way. She goes to the grocery store using her limited pension, carefully picking out the snacks Mark likes, while he sleeps until the afternoon. When she tries to mention his resume, he uses generational gaslighting. He tells her, "You don't understand how the world works now, Mom. It's not like your day." This makes Sarah feel obsolete, as if her hard-earned wisdom is worthless. She finds herself walking on eggshells in a house she paid for, terrified of triggering his anger. Chapter 2: The Invisible Thief of Peace. This conflict does more than drain a bank account. It steals the parent's self-worth. Sarah told us, "I handled life and death situations for 30 years in the ER. But I can't handle my own son's laundry." There is a deep, agonizing shame that comes with this. Sarah has stopped seeing her friends because she can't bear the question. So, what is Mark doing these days? The son's laziness has become the mother's secret shame. This invisible thief has stolen Sarah's retirement. Instead of taking the gardening classes she dreamed of, her mental energy is entirely consumed by the presence of a grown man in the next room who refuses to contribute. Resentment begins to boil under the surface. Every time she hears the microwave at 3 a.m. or sees a pile of dirty dishes in the sink, her love feels a little more like bitterness. "I catch myself wishing he would just disappear," she admits, "and then I spend the rest of the night hating myself for having that thought." Chapter 3: The Enabler's Dilemma. The most painful moment in Sarah's letter was when her own sister told her, "You're the reason he isn't working." This is the core of the enabler's dilemma. By providing a warm bed, high-speed internet, and a full fridge, Sarah created a comfortable cage. Mark has no reason to face the cold world because the world at home is too soft. "If I stop, he will end up on the streets," Sarah cries. This fear is the ultimate weapon adult children use against their parents. But the harsh truth is that, as long as the safety net is there, the bird will never fly. Sarah describes a night where she decided not to cook. Mark came out, saw the empty stove, and threw a tantrum like a toddler. He slammed doors and called her selfish for not serving him. It was a wake-up call. She wasn't raising a son, she was maintaining a parasite. Chapter 4: The Breaking Point. The breaking point didn't come from an argument, it came from an accident. Sarah fell in the bathroom and bruised her hip badly. She called out for Mark, but he was wearing his noise-canceling headphones, lost in a virtual world. She laid on the cold tile for 20 minutes before she could crawl to her phone. When Mark finally realized what happened, his first question wasn't about her health. It was, "How am I supposed to get to the store if you're hurt?" That was the moment Sarah's heart finally turned to stone. She realized that her kindness had turned her son into someone who didn't even see her as a human being, but as a utility. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. The next morning, she sat him down with a 30-day transition plan. She told him, "In 30 days, I am changing the Wi-Fi password. In 60 days, this room becomes my hobby room. You have 1 month to find a job, any job, to pay for your own life." Chapter 5: The Loneliness of the Right Choice. Today, Sarah's house is filled with a heavy, freezing tension. Mark is furious, calling her heartless and cruel. This is the part of the story people rarely talk about: the absolute loneliness of doing the right thing. Her friends call her brave, but she feels like a villain. Every time she sees Mark looking stressed, her instinct is to take it all back and apologize. But she knows that if she folds now, she is sentencing him to a life of uselessness. She is mourning the son she thought she had, while trying to save the man he could still become. It is a tragic, quiet heroism. Sometimes, the most loving thing a mother can do is to close the door and let the world teach the lessons she can no longer provide. Sarah is currently on day 14 of her 30-day notice. She is terrified of what will happen on day 31. She wrote to us because she needed to know if she was a monster or a mother. Now, we turn to you. Many of you have lived through this or seen it in your own families. Was Sarah right to set such a hard deadline, or did she go too far? If this were your son, would you have the strength to change the locks? Or is there another way? Please, leave your thoughts in the comments. Your wisdom might be the light Sarah needs to get through these next 2 weeks.